I got that right. We're good. Put that on our work area. Perfect. All right. Let's go to our sewing hub. All right, and hello everyone. All right, I think we're good to go. I think we got good stuff. Alrighty. Get some of my junk out of the way here. And we'll be able to tinker around just fine tonight. Okay. Open this guy up so we can kind of get an idea of what we're working on tonight. Gives people a little bit of time to come through. So this is the goal, to get this guy wrapped up tonight as far as like all the inks. And we're going to work on some other stuff if we have time. Um, Let me go ahead and just post that we're live on this guy, and then we're ready to rock. Where's my? Take a picture and then let people know. Boom. Okay. That, and give everybody the link so that way they know. See who's going to come through tonight. Hopefully, I get some good people coming through. I usually do. Um, let's see here. Um, where is there? It is. Bring that. Let me grab this code and let's post this. That way it's all the socials. Let me get that a little better quality. Actually, you know what? We'll do this. Pop this on our story. We're going to use the good old camera. Perfect. Then get the link for it. Let's do the sticker link. Paste that. Alrighty. Just waiting for people to come through. Pop that down there. And we'll send that off. So that way it's all good to go. So we got fun stuff. All right. All right, I just got to get a fan from my room because it's a little warm in here. Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for popping in, even if it's just for a second. So this is what the goal is. I want to get this transformer completed tonight. Um, I would like also, this is a warm up because I really need to get real comfortable before I go and start throwing down inks on this guy. Is that I usually do these little sketch cards, and I'll show you guys the last one I did. So I did a retro version of Flash Gordon. This is going out to one of my customers that bought a Blue Beetle and Question piece from me. So he's going to get this. It was one of my giveaways I did on my last cast about 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to do another one tonight. But here's the thing: as far as this stuff goes, whenever I sell these particular cards, I'm giving you guys two for the price of one. So you're going to get the one that you picked. So if it happens to be like this one or that, or the Thanos or Aang, if you get a Deadpool or a Daredevil, even a Dalsim. Let's see what else do we got in here. No, I got another good one in here. Let's go. Um, and we got to go with Art the Clown. If we have any of those, and I still haven't posted Art, I just got to put him up there. But I'm definitely gonna put him up there because it is Halloween. It makes sense, right? So if you buy one of these sketch cards or one of these cards that I have that I've made, whether it's one that I made on the show or whether one that I, you know, have made and I've added onto the store, you're going to get two. So you'll get a mystery card as well. Sometimes I do entertain, people ask for certain requests. So I'm not going to put that out there as a absolute no. So I do want to make that very clear. All right. So again, I'm going to do the sketch card first, then we're going to jump right into this. I don't really want to, utilize more than like 30 minutes to do that sketch card. I want it to be quick. So let's go in and grab one of the cards, one of the blanks that we can use. Okay. So in terms of blanks, I do have a lot of them in here. Um, I think I'm just going to go with this. That was strong guy on the back there. We don't want to use that. Reference, more info. So those I can't use because some of them already have stuff on the back, and I don't want you guys getting something that's already used. No, so I'm not going to use any of those because that's because actually, you know what? I had that had one. I want the strong guy. I might just use that. Somebody's going to get that. Okay, so I have strong guy on the back. I'm not going to complete that one because I'm not really happy with that. However, you're going to get two for the price of one because you're going to flip it over and you'll be like, hey, I got that and that. So it's going to work out to your benefit. So let's just jump into it. So I'm going to go straight to the back. Got to grab some tools, and then we're going to get rocking on this. Let me move this over so I can see what you guys are doing. There we go. Be a little bit easier for me to monitor things this way too. I like that. Boom. Okay, that's cool. All right, so I have my tools, all my pens I'm going to use, and then I'm a little different, so I utilize red pencil or blue pencil. There is no real difference between the two. It just makes it easier for you to be able to distinguish like your graphite from your sketch. Or if you're doing ink, just going straight into ink, it just makes things a little bit easier for you. So, all right, I am going to have this thing give me a random character. Um, Random characters. Um, let's see. I'm waiting to see if I can see anybody coming on in. Maybe they can kind of help me out with this one. If not, I think I'm just going to pick one and just go for it as quickly as I can. Um, Maybe we go video game character. Let's do random video game character. All right, so let's see. Video game characters. Cool. All right, so obviously you got Mario in there. He's kind of boring. Um, Not that he's not a good character. He's just kind of boring for this particular thing I'm doing. Um, there's Banjo Kazooie. There's Zero. What else can I do? I don't want to do a Kirby. Should I go for Crash Bandicoot? You know what? I think I'm going to do a Crash Bandicoot tonight. Let's do a Crash. So we're going to do Crash Bandicoot. I have a good reference that I can use. Again, when I'm doing these cards, I'm not trying to copy somebody else's stuff. I just use the reference as just for that. I just want to have a reference of, because sometimes I don't know all the characters that I want to draw. I just jump out there and go for it. That's my graphite one, so I keep that up there. And there's my red lead. So you guys can kind of see like the red lead right there. Boom. That's what I want to use. And without further ado, let's jump into it. So I know he's kind of got more of this kind of shape going for his head. I'm going to come down here, give him, this is where the nose is going to break off. So come here, nose comes out like that. And we're going to have the nose right there. Again, I'm just going super loose. I don't want to go like super tight. I just want it loose. Give him a mild smile. He's still going to be happy. I'm going to go with my traditional where the eye is like big here. What I like to do. Um, give him, there's the pupil, other pupil. I'm going to give this up because in the game, like when I first originally had my PlayStation 1, what I would do is I play this game on endless. Like I was in Washington D.C. and I was playing this game like crazy, and you would just see him just sit there, and you just see the his eyebrows just perk up when he was just like sitting around trying to figure out stuff. That was one of the cool parts about this game because the character was a little bit more animated and he was just more fun because he was like interactive. So when he would be on pause, he would I would say basically act out. And I like that. That was really cool. The next time I saw that pop up was actually the first time I saw that happen was an Earthworm Jim. It wasn't as noticeable because it was a side scroller, whereas this is more 3D based. Um, but character was really dope, and I dug him. He was a really cool character. So his stuff, he has a cheat that goes up. It's very cartoony. I haven't drawn this guy before, so this will be the first. Okay. So I just basically just popped in all the basic things that I wanted to have. And now I'm going to come back with my pencil just so I can kind of tighten things up a little bit. So I'm going a little bit closer with my pencil. And what I will do before I get going here, I'm going to just want to kind of tighten this up. I'm going to take a quick pause because I have to invite some of my students in to check this out. I want them. I have a couple of people that really kind of want to know what I do here on Whatnot. They've never really checked it out, so I'm going to definitely tell them about it. So let me do that now, really fast. Um, so sorry. Let me grab this guy here. Okay, got that. Let's put this in the Discord because this is very important. That. Where's my screenshot? Take my screenshot. Hold on. Whatever. I think that's it. No, it did not take my screenshot. Let me go back and grab that. Good. Okay, so now this makes sense. Right, and still waiting for people to pop in. That's okay. I'm still going to talk. I don't care whether I have no people or I have 30,000 people. I don't care. I'm going to keep on talking. Got- trying to get this thing on this Discord. There it is. Boom. Okay. So we're gonna go out. We're live. Whatnot. Just go whatnot. Wednesday is live. Turn. Give them the link. Paste. Boom. Send that off to them so they can check that out. We're gonna put this one also in the main of this guy. Boom. Paste. We'll put in these other two discords, and we should be good to go. I think that should be everything. Um, Self promotion. Boom. All right. So let's jump into it. I am going to put in my motivation music. And right now I've been on this kick where I've been listening to um if anybody's seen F1, there is a song in F1. It is called Lose My Mind. It's played in the beginning of the movie and it's played halfway through the movie. One part of it is just instrumental. The other part's got vocals on it. And it's got Doja Cat and this guy named Don Tolliver. But it's a dope song. It's just fun. It's relaxing. I believe it was made by Hans Zimmer. It's really cool. I kind of get lost in doing my work when I do it because it's almost like a trance. It's really cool. All right, so now you're starting to see how this is coming together. You know? Mm. Oh, is that my buddy Lucas? That would be cool if he's in here. He might be like one of my old students. Like that dude was, if it is who I think it is, Lucas is like a super athletic, super incredible person. So I hope that is him. Okay. Ready? Let's get that eye, pupil. Boom. Get this part. Let me see if I can grab my reference. Dun, dun, dun. Good reference. And yeah, and this is going to be his ear. Again, his jaw goes like super high. So I think I'm going to have to adjust where I have this smile. I'm going to make it a little bigger, almost like the Joker smile, where it's like super big like here. And then I'm going to open this up a little bit more. I had it smaller, but I think just because this is the way the character is designed, I don't want to mess up the design of the character. And then it's almost like his head's tucked down. It's weird how his anatomy works. We're gonna put a little shine there because the light's coming in from the right. Okay. So we got all the basics done. Now let's throw some inks on this bad boy. So I'm gonna move between an 8. I'm probably gonna use my 5 or my O5, and then I utilize. Let's see if I can get a 2 or a 3. I think I'm gonna try my 3. So I like that one. Like the how that runs, how that works. All right. So we're gonna start off with a 3, and that's gonna give us the area for like the pupils, so that way we don't mess that part up. Okay. And I'm not gonna put that little white mark in because I'm gonna do a little different trick. I'm going to use my paint pen to give him that shine. So I have the reference for it right there. Okay, so that's good to go. I don't really need this anymore because I don't need to do any more like fine details. I just needed it just for that. It looks like in order to keep things even, I'm gonna have to thicken this line, this guy up here. Now there's tricks and everything to doing inking and whatnot, but for me, it's just um, I like to work from like a thin, depending on the area, especially when I'm doing eyes. I gotta definitely work small, and then I build those areas up. And usually I'll build it up with the smaller pen. Okay? So I have some things coming up the pipeline, Um, sorry, I should say down the pipeline. Um, as we know, we only have about wow, we're talking less than 3 months before the new year, right? So it's always good to kind of reflect, see what you did for the year, and then get yourself all set up for the next year, right? So I've been looking at 2026 since probably summertime, because I like to give myself a little bit of leeway, especially as I've gotten older. Structure is definitely one of those things I really like to have in place. I like having a plan, and just following that plan. I tend to have more success when I do that, and that's honestly, guys, that's something that I would recommend for anybody. If you have a plan, you follow the steps of the plan. You're not trying to look at. You already know what the main goal is. So, like, let's just say, for example, your main goal was to reduce debt. Okay. Well, that is a huge bit. That's a huge burden, especially if you do all the calculations and you find out how much debt you have. It's kind of intimidating. However, if you break it up into little bits that are manageable and give yourself the ability to get wins across or down the way, you'll feel more successful. And that's the goal. So for me, right now, my goal is to get more of my artwork done on a regular basis. That's really what I want to do. I really enjoy creating. Um, when life happens, sometimes that can derail what your plan is. So for me, I've had this desire to write a book and um, get it published. Now, let me be very transparent because there's probably some people out here that listen to this thing and are like, "You're gonna do what?" So a while back, I'm gonna say probably back in 2015 or 2014, I can't remember the year, but it was around that area. Um, Crowdfunding was starting up, and I had this genius idea of, hey, I want to finish the graphic novel that I was working on with my friend, which was just finishing up the last page. And my thought process was, if I do a Kickstarter, that's going to be incentive. The money part of it is going to be enough incentive for me to finish the book. Okay. Unfortunately for me, money was not my incentive. Okay. I ended up getting burnt out doing that book, because, honestly, that doing that project took a lot out of me, as far as like emotionally and all that kind of good stuff. Just getting frustrated because I couldn't get like a nice rhythm. So when I did the first two books, I literally sat in a coffee shop every day for hours working on these books and getting the artwork done for them. So everything kind of flowed very nicely. However, as I, started experiencing life and, ended up getting married and having kids and all that stuff, the reality of being able to complete that project kept on getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And Unfortunately, I have to this day, and it's one of my biggest issues that I have for moving on to another big project is that I never finished that book. So my goal for 2026 is to finish that Kickstarter, no matter what it takes. If it takes me the year to do it, I'm going to take the year to do it. But I'm going to finish up that book, the third one, get it completed in its entirety, like wrap up whatever pages and clean up whatever pages that I'd done, so that way everything's all consistent. Because we're talking like years between when I last worked on it and other times in between. So styles have changed. So I want to make sure everything looks nice and consistent in the third book. Okay. In this first and second book, not even touching that. All I'm going to do is just put it all back together. So it's all one book, and the goal is to have it as, I think it's 100 pages once it's all done, and that will have archived artwork that I did, some work that um, my writer had done or writers had done, just to kind of get things moving in the right direction. Hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy? Um, but the goal is to wrap that up, get it done, get it printed, and then get that stuff out to the people that supported me years and years ago. I feel like I owe them that, and I want that to be done. I'm doing very well. Just trying to work on this quick sketch of Crash Bandicoot. You working on some stuff tonight? So right now, guys, my buddy Chris Arnold, um, he does a lot of stuff on Whatnot, and he's doing the sorry, Inktober challenge. Nice, very very nice. So if you've never done Inktober, for those of you that are one either starting out doing art or you are a person that really needs to kind of like challenge yourself, Inktober is a really cool thing to do, and I would say you can use it to work on fundamentals. So you were given a prompt. So like today's prompt was mustache, and you will take that and create something. So I believe like for Chris's piece that he did today, it was a dog with this big mustache, like a handlebar mustache. So it was really cute. I saw another person do one where it was an old man that had the handlebar mustache. So everybody's got a little something different. But I would say if you can get the Inktober prompts, do them, post them, and make sure that you do the hashtags, because that's the way other people can take a look and see what you do. The goal isn't to criticize other people's stuff. It is to really challenge yourself. Can you do something like this where it's nothing but ink? Like it's not colored. It's all black and white. So you're putting ink to paper, and then you have a final product, right? So you do that, you post it, and do that for 30 days straight. And I promise you, you're going to see a difference, because you're going to either see it in the way that you draw, your speed, or you're going to see some kind of growth in your process, right? Or you'll see them all those little bits. So, Chris, which Inktober challenge are you taking on? Are you taking just the traditional Jake Parker one, or are you doing one of the others? Yes, having a sore wrist is true, but it also depends on how hard you hold your pencil or your pen. Okay, so you're doing the original Jake Parker list. Okay, so I have like four different lists that I've kind of collected, and I think I'm either going to pull from each one of them and do something different per day, or I'm going to try to pick a couple of them and just knock them all out. I know. I just I need I would just want to work on my drawing skills. I got to get my fundamentals really tight again. I don't know if you saw mine, but I'm doing the X-Men one. That's the first one I want to do. So today's prompt was Sunspot. I've never drawn that character before, ever. So he was pretty dope. Tomorrow's is going to be Cable, and it's going to have a lot of characters that I either drawn or characters that I'm not familiar with. The big thing is, and I don't know if this happens for you, but I don't get a lot of female requests for my artwork, so it's not one of those things I typically draw. So I really want to embrace that and tighten up that side of my artwork. Not saying that I can't draw a female, but I really want to have it where it has that dynamic look like all the other superheroes that I draw. Oops, almost dropped my pen. All right, so going back to what I was saying originally, so um, not that I will get back to the Inktober stuff. So anyway, um, so goals for 2026, and like I said, it's all about having little wins across the board when you're doing stuff like that. And my reason for wanting to really finish it is twofold. There's the side that I really want to do right by the people that supported me. That's number one because there's a lot of people that really said, "Hey, Marcus, I like your work. Um, I like the fact that you're doing this. You're an independent artist. I want to support you. I really want you to succeed and all that stuff." And there's a lot of people that did, friends and otherwise, even random people that really supported me, and I really want them to be able to benefit from that. Um, Even if they immediately don't, read the book for themselves, you never know. They could always give it to a kid or something like that and inspire them. Um, and I also feel like completing that project will allow me to not feel like I'm doing the people that supported me dirty. They should come first. They helped me out first. So I also want to see the finished product. I want to have it on my shelf. I'm gonna be honest, I'm selfish. I want to see it done so I can put it up on my shelf. Because I have a lot of because my skills have grown as far as a designer, I can now, create a book that looks visually good, get it printed, and it maintains that quality. And that's I feel like where I was back then, I had the vision for it, like I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't have the skills to back it up. And because it was a limited budget for creating that, it literally came down to me to um, do all that work, all that graphic design work. So again, I wasn't at a spot where I am now, and I feel that now that I can mix the artwork with the design work, I feel like anybody that gets the book at the end of the year or when it's done and printed, they're going to get something good. I honestly don't care about the reviews that I get about it. I know it's late. I mean, it's really late, but at the end of the day, it's going to be done, and I can be like, okay, cool. Somebody went ahead and got their stuff. I can now move on and do the thing that I've been wanting to do for years, and that's being able to create my own story. So once I get one win, I'm going to take it on and I'm going to get another win and another win and another win. So I have a really cool story that I have developed. It's 5 chapters. So I'm going to set it up where I do 5 32-page books and I'm going to crowdfund those. Probably do those once every 6 months or once every year. And I feel like that alone is going to, be something that's really going to be fun to do. Um, it's got a lot of cool characters. It's got a really good um, setup for it. It entertains a lot of the things that I like from when I was a kid. So obviously, it's going to have swords. It's going to have um, lots of fighting because that's one of my things I love to see in comics. A lot of dynamic scenes. I'm finally going to get to really push my ability to do like perspective and landscapes and stuff like that. So I really am looking forward to seeing the finished product on that end. But again, with something like that, even though I know that it's a big goal to get it done, I'm breaking it up so that way it's more realistic. 32 pages is a lot more digestible than 32 pages times five in one book. So that way I can get a win. I can use that and I can build off of that win. That's what I want to do. So it's a win-win for everybody. So probably by 2027, I will have my first book done. So stories in the bag. Stories done. Um, I'm going to be sending it off to a creative writer that I know, and he is going to give his critiques, and I will take his feedback. It's always good to have an impartial party to get feedback on. It's not that you're going to get that feedback and take all of their notes to heart and put all of that into the story, but having that impartial party, one, they don't have any you know links to you, like as far as like if they hurt your feelings, like they say something that might hurt your feelings, they're not going to hold back. They are going to be open and honest with you, because from that side of things, you need those kind of people. Your friends are going to probably just be like, oh, hey, you did a great job, even though you might have the story might suck, right? You want to have something, or I shouldn't say you, I would like to have something that when people read it, they want to come back to it and read it again. And that can happen on a couple of fronts. One, you have great visuals, and then you have a good story. Those are the two things that are going to put that together. So that's the stuff I want. I mean, there's a artist I follow, and then Chris, you could probably say this too. Alex Ross is probably, in my opinion, he has one of the books that stands out. Actually, two of them that really stand out. He's made three that I read, but two of them stand out. So he's got Kingdom Come, that is a spectacle. Like when you read Kingdom Come, it's a great story. Okay. It's older versions of the Justice League having to deal with younger versions of superheroes that have powers, right? So some of them have gone rogue, and now they have to bring in our legends, our OGs, so Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. They have to come in and they have to do their work to stop this madness. So one, the story is fantastic. Okay. The next part is the visuals. When you see the visuals, he paints all of his work in that book. So it's not drawn, like hand drawn. Every page is painted and it's meticulous. Like every panel is just, you could literally take a panel out of that book, cut it up, blow it up, and put it on your wall, and it's a piece of art. Every panel. And you can't say that about a lot of artists when you look at their work. They might have one or two flashy pieces in a book, but his Kingdom Come was like that. The same thing with Injustice. That was a masterpiece, and then also Marvels is another one that, again, he's outside the box. Like such a different and dynamic designer and artist. All right, so there's Crash Bandicoot. That one will go up the on the store. So if you want to get Crash, again, you're gonna get Crash and you're gonna get another card. So it's a buy one, get one. I think that's pretty cool. He looks good. I like him. All right, on to the fun stuff. So again, Crash Bandicoot, get one, get another one, you're good to go. Let's go fun. All right, we're going Transformers. Chris, I don't know if you saw this. This is a fun, dope character. All right, Transformer. Yeah, this one I started last cast, so 2 weeks ago. Let me see what his name is. I can't remember his name. Random parts. Gotta see what his name is because I know I wish I had seen my last customer. He got it and he told me what it was. Thank you for that compliment. My wife says that the Transformers are like my niche right now. I don't know what it is. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Transformer made from random parts. Let's go cartoon. Okay. So I can figure out what this guy's name is called. I know he's got a name. Just gotta find it. Dun 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 dun. Wow, that was just not cool. Transformer. So sorry about the quiet. I just need to figure out who this character was because I can't think of what his name is off the top of my head. Yes, she absolutely is. Chris, do you know off the top of your head the name of the transformer that was made from different Autobot parts? See, I don't know his name. Let me look it up on my computer. I'm going to see if I can find it on my computer real quick while I'm working. Um, so I don't have a reference picture and I can't remember what he looks like. Transformers cartoon. Character made from Autobot parts. Oh, I know what I can do. It's Frankenstein Transformer. That's the can transformer I can look up. What is your name? Blender. There he is. I found him. I just gotta find his name, but at least I got a reference. Is his name Combiner? I'm not sure. He's like a Frankenstein transformer. He's a really weird looking guy. So he looks like this. That's what he looks like. But at least I have a reference that I can work with now. Glad I looked up Frankenstein transformer. That would make things a lot easier had I thought about that earlier. Well, you know what? I got the reference, so I can just work off of that. Okay, so let's get him going. I appreciate that. It's all good. I think I'm just gonna work off of what I found, and this will do the trick. So, Chris, I got to find out what prompt are you working on because I haven't looked at the prompts today or for tomorrow. So, what prompt are you working on right now? The weave, huh? So you work on somebody with long hair? Is that what you want to do? And crown. Ooh. So let me ask you a question because I'm not sure if this I don't know if there's rules to this whole Inktober, but do you do this thing where you just keep knocking out day after day and then you go ahead and post it because you're limited on the amount of time that you have? I find that, doing that for myself works because I don't have I can't do it every day, but I can do like 2 or 3 in one day. Okay. Oh, that's you know what? That's fair. I can work with that. Okay. That you know what? I get that, and that makes a lot of sense. I figured that's how people were doing it because that's how I had done like my what was it the June tune pieces that I'd worked on prior. I just found it easier for me to kind of have a batch of them, and then again, like you're doing, I scheduled them out so that way I'm not rushed. Yeah, that's the hardest part. Chris, I hope to see, in 2026 for you, I want to see you bring back your characters. I know you did a post of them. I'm probably going to say like a month ago. I saw you do a post with the your dolphin and the manatee and all that. I would love to see you bring those back. Oh, that would be cool. All right, question number whatever I'm on right now. So this is more shop related. I have a Transformers piece for one of the customers over at Berserk. He's a guy that really likes Transformers. He's kind of like a New Yorker kind of guy. He and his wife popped up at at our last event that you and I worked together, and I just can't remember his name. I think his name might be Mike. I'm gonna have to see it. because you get to see everybody before me. Um, I gotta just gotta drop that piece off, but I just wasn't sure. I misplaced his card, so I have to find that. Maybe I can look through some old pictures from the I think it's Free Comic Book Day. I'll see if I can find him in there. Yeah, he's looking really good. It's good. So I'm gonna follow up on something that you started a few weeks ago. So you were talking about like TV shows. So for a while now, I've been kind of, talking to people about, shows that I'm watching and all that kind of good stuff. And I kind of like giving recommendations and why I like certain things. Just giving my 2 cents. Not saying that it's correct, but enlightening people on things that are out there. So I don't know if you're a big fan of like the Alien franchise or the Predator franchise, but um, Alien Earth just wrapped last week, and I was raving about it. I still will rave about it. My only hang up on that show is how they ended it. That was my only hang up. Like it opened the door for something brand new. The storyline was so different from where I thought it was going to go. We're so used to seeing like alien movies where, or well, we'll say movies because they haven't done a show. We're so used to seeing alien movies where it's all about the alien, right? The xenomorph. The guy's going to rip out your brain with his mouth, right? So this series really went in a different direction. So it was more about the monsters, and the monsters had character, and you could empathize with those monsters. And we're not just talking about the xenomorph monsters, we're talking about other monsters that are in there, and they are. I thought the xenomorph was dope, like crazy. Think about a monster that is a serial killer, right? And not like a xenomorph serial killer. We're talking a methodical killer. So they have one that kind of reminds me of who is it? Not Jeffrey Dahmer, but the guy from Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter. Very much like that in the show, and many others very similar to that. So it's almost like the human characters in the show become secondary to those creatures. I would definitely recommend. It is a fantastic watch. Um, if you like that kind of stuff, if you don't mind being scared, if you don't mind seeing a little bit of gore, it does have a lot of eye violence. So be prepared if that's something that you want to see. I would definitely recommend it. FX did a fantastic job. I'm hoping it's going to get renewed for a second season. Every actor and actress in there they were so solid, so good. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think for me, when I saw the ending to it, I felt like it was very rushed. I almost feel like they could have ended it at the seventh episode, like taken a couple bits from the eighth episode and put it into the seventh, and they would have had a good wrap for the season. So that's what I thought. Yeah, I really hope that they do. Really hope that they bring another season because that I was shocked by the quality of that one. I really, honestly, I would have never watched Alien Earth if it hadn't been for the Alien movie that came out last year. because I was kind of burnt out on Alien because it's the same stuff, and I think with yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, they took it to another level. And here's the thing, like, yeah, you know what? With the craziness of those things, I don't know. They had to have had something. They might have caught them while they were sleeping. You know, almost like when you catch an iguana when it's cold. I think that's probably how they did it. Um, I don't know, but the one thing I definitely like, and this is FX as a whole. FX is changing the game how they're doing storytelling. Like they are actually getting solid stories. Um, there's there's been a couple of different series that I've seen. I can't remember some of them off the top of my head. I know there's one called Black Cake. Unfortunately, it was great, but it didn't get renewed. That was a great story. Um, the basic premise is you have a brother and sister that um, have a mom that dies, and she's got this really deep, dark past that ultimately affects her kids in how she dealt with her life. So you get to see this story of her life along with all the people that she affected throughout and how it impacts their kids because it gets bigger than that. But that series called Black Cake, incredible. Um, they did Paradise. Paradise 2 is coming out. You know, it's Sterling K. Brown. You can't really not see him and be like, he's not great. Um, he doesn't really put himself in bad series, so he's a very, very talented dude. But really cool stuff. The next thing that I watched was I don't know if you're a big who is it Chris Pratt fan, but we all know Chris Pratt for being the funny guy. But Chris Pratt actually is a very good dramatic actor. Really, really good. And he did a show, I think just after COVID. It was called The Terminal List. Terminal List. And he was basically given a death sentence, but beforehand he finds out that somebody's killing off his old army mates or marine mates, or I would say our old army squad. That's what I would say. And because he is military, it's one of those things where he has to basically do all the hunting, figure out what's going on while going through this very traumatic terminal death kind of thing, right? It has a lot of depth to it. It's he's doing a lot of physical work. He's a soldier, and it's really cool because it's like watching him as Star Lord, but he's actually a soldier, and it's very convincing. So, if you ever seen the Tomorrow World, it's like that but better. But taking it a little further, they just had I don't know, yeah, it's a prequel to it. It's called Terminal List: Dark Wolf, and it stars Taylor. What's his name? Taylor. Sorry, I don't want to lose my reference. Taylor Kitsch. Yes, thank you. Um, he he's very underrated and he's very underutilized, which I really hate. He's still in one of my favorite goofy movies, be that Battleship, but in this movie or in this series, he is so good. He makes such a good soldier in every movie that he plays. He was in um Lone Survivor. He was in Battleship, where he's a great soldier. He was in John Carpenter, and then he was in this. But he's also been in other movies where he's actually been like the soldier, the leader. In this series, he's really really good. And he you see how he transitions from a marine into a mercenary, and you find out he's a broken person and what leads him to go into that mercenary life. And it's very cool to see that happen. So if you get some time, the Terminal List is already out. All I think it's either 7 or 8 episodes. They're very dense, very very dense. But every minute of that show is well utilized. And I don't know if you ever. Yeah, the new one, if you like the Terminal List, the new one is even more intense. And I don't know how much you like. I think they're. I don't know what they really call these, but these new the Korean um, TV shows that they bring over on the Netflix. I've been kind of getting into them, and I think it happened before Squid Game happened. Um, I started watching this show called Alice in Borderlands. Now, Alice in Borderlands was a manga. It was also an anime, and then they turned it into this live action series. And the premise is a guy and his friends are, you know, playing around, and the main character is basically a screw off. Like he won't keep a job. He likes to sit home and play games. That's his big shtick. At least in this series, I haven't read the manga and I haven't seen the anime. Um, and one day they all go out. They're having fun, and they get into the busiest street in Japan. And all of a sudden, something happens, and the area goes completely quiet. Nobody's there but them, and they're looking around for anybody. They're calling out, and they don't know what's going on. And come to find out, they're in this world called the Borderlands. And the only way that they can get out of the Borderlands is they have to collect 52 cards, just like a deck of cards. So you have to get every card, and the people that have the cards, so even if you like have partners and whatnot, all those people can come together as long as they have all 52, and that will give them the ability to get out of the Borderlands. If you don't have the cards, you can't get out. Now, the twist to it is you have to play games in order to get these cards. And the games are death games. So you either survive or you die. There's nothing in the middle. You don't lose a limb, you're just done. If you try to play the game, so once you're in the game, if you try to play it and you try to get out of it, instant death. You have to go to the end, whether you survive or you die. So it's very violent in that respect, but it's a cool adventure. The first two seasons cover the length of this main character and all the supplemental characters that go with him. I just started the new season. I'm not familiar with anybody but the main character returning in this series, so I don't know what's really going on. I've only seen the first episode, and it's freaky. It's one of those things that make you think about the decisions that you make. How much do you want to know the truth about something? Once somebody pulls the curtain and says, "Come on in." Once you come in, do you really want to find out and dig deeper with not knowing what the consequences could be? That's the question that's had in this show. but it is fun. It's a really cool, really cool show. Again, lots of eye violence. I don't know what it is about these shows that I'm watching as of late, but yeah, that tends to be a trend for those. I don't know if I've seen anything else that's come out lately because I'm waiting for. I do need to see that Marvel Zombies. I'm looking for that. It looks pretty cool, and I'm on the fence that all the episodes were dropped. So I'm really it could be either really good or it could be really bad. Um, I don't really feel like there's an in the middle. But that being said, I don't think Marvel's in a place where they really want to make bad stuff. So I think they are really pushing for quality. People crap on that Riri Williams thing. Um, but I think Riri Williams is that series is actually pretty good. I wish they'd given a little bit more depth to Ramos. I feel like he was not well used in that. He felt very hollow when you saw him in the series, but I think that that's something that can be, retconned in the next series if they decide to continue it on. That would be really cool. Um, but I am looking forward to that series. It looks pretty. The Marvel Zombies looks good. It's got that same kind of animation that they had in um, What If, but obviously it's darker. I've never read Marvel Zombies. It never was anything that really tickled my fancy, so I just never jumped on board on that. Um, but again, this looks like something that could be really cool and really fun. So I'm going to check it out for sure. So that's on my watch list. What else have I checked out recently? Done a lot of documentaries. I just saw the documentary for the Cowboys. That was fun. Um, I I knew a lot of it because I grew up watching uh, the Cowboys, especially in the '90s. Mind you, I was never a fan of them. I just wasn't a huge football fan, but I did know about a lot of the highlights. I knew about all the characters. I knew about all the players, um, that kind of stuff. So for me, having the experience to watch that and see the whole process of how it worked and how I think it's Jerry Jones. Yeah, Jerry Jones, how he approached things really revolutionized where football is now and how his legacy really has carried on throughout the league. I didn't realize how much of an impact he really had on things. But that's the cool about thing about watching documentaries. You get to get a little more depth in those things. Hey, Swirl, how you doing, man? I was wondering if I was going to see you up here tonight. Hey, I'm going to show you something real fast. So this is what was done earlier. So got some Crash Bandicoot, and I don't know if I sent you a picture of this, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. Where did he go? I think it's in the stack. Yeah, I think it's in this one. Yeah, I think he's right here. Nope, that's not him. I think this is the one. No, it's not that one. Wow. So I got your Buck Rogers in here, or not Buck Rogers. I have Flash Gordon in here. Here he is. There you go. Told you I was going to throw down on that color. Now, my light is making this part of his face look a lot shinier than it is a lot less. than what the picture is showing. So see if I can get that a little closer. So that's him. I think he looks pretty dope, but that's just me. I'm a little impartial. I drew it, so that's what's gonna happen. Squirrel, what is the name of this character that you told me about last time? That's it. Autobot X. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just kept on calling him Frankenstein Transformer because I could not find a name for him, but I did find him and I had to find my reference, so that's what I did. So, Sora, what you been up to? And did you get your piece in? I didn't get any report back from whatnot. Apologize for it getting there just a couple days behind. I was trying to work and get it out there, and unfortunately, it ended up being on a weekend, and I wasn't able to get it out on time. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you get a chance to open that thing up. I do want to go and get your feedback on there. Yeah, I keep on seeing that piece up on my. I haven't posted it yet. I'm not gonna post it until I find out that you've seen it. I posted the whips, like the mock-ups for it, but I have not shown the final version of it yet. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? Look at it like this. It's kind of like Christmas for you. So I've already gone through like my current movies and stuff like that because I was talking to my buddy Chris on here about TV shows. I want to just touch on something that's coming out. So I'm a huge movie fan. This year alone, and I would say not this year, I would say this summer was freaking nuts. I cannot believe how many movies I saw this summer. It's been since I'm going to say since Transformers last night, the last night. It's been that long since I've had a summer where I've almost seen a movie every week at the movie theaters because everything was just super solid. And it was a fun summer to see stuff. I mean, come on, we got to see Superman come back. That was fun. It was a good B plus for me. Wasn't like an A. Um, we had Fantastic Four. For me, Fantastic Four, and people might hate me on this, but I thought Fantastic Four was the better of the two movies. A lot of people that I talk to, even my son, he prefers the Superman over Fantastic Four. But I will say this, and I've watched both of them again. I will say that if you watch Fantastic Four again, you appreciate it even more. I will say that because so we've seen Superman and we know how um, James Gunn operates, and I think the reason for me the Superman is not the better of the two movies is that it is setting up a world, whereas Fantastic Four, that world's already been established and established multiple times, and they really did a good job of doing that nice little montage at the beginning of how they got their powers and all that stuff. So we really didn't have to do a lot of figuring things out, and it wasn't going to a bigger place. It was a very isolated story Whereas with the Superman piece, you know that it's set up to go to a Lex Luthor kind of thing. Like there was no cliffhanger at the end of, the Fantastic Four, other than the fact of that little cutscene at the end with Doctor Doom and Sue Storm and was it Franklin Richards? Yeah, at the very end. If you didn't have that, that story would be completely isolated, and that story was so super tight. It was really really good. That being the case, Superman's still good. Um, Karate Kid. Let me be honest with you. Karate Kid was a disappointment. Not good. Not good. I feel like they try to take all of the fun stuff that they did in Cobra Kai, and then they try to put that into the Karate Kid movie, and it didn't work. The feeling, the tone was very off. It felt very rushed, and like they were trying to force um, the Jackie Chan character in with the Ralph Macchio character, and the two just did not mix well at all. It was very very weird and off putting. Well, Swirl, if you want to see it, and you can derive your own opinion on it, but if you want to watch it, it's on Netflix right now. It's got one of the actors that was in Miss Marvel. The guy that played like with the red mask, he's in there. Obviously, you got Ralph Macchio, Jackie Chan, all that kind of stuff, and you have Joshua Jackson in it. I'm pretty sure you can pirate it somewhere, and it's out there on digital for pirate. I know that for a fact. I know there's sites out there you can visit, and you can get a good cut. Um, so I would say just check that out. Um, it's a good watch. It's fun, but if you're really looking at the whole big picture of movies, it really wasn't like the bomb. Let me see. Let me go down my archives because I can tell you guys exactly all those things. Let's see. 2025 movies, summer movies. There was a lot of them. Okay, so Jurassic World Rebirth. Jurassic World Rebirth, fun movie, not great, but fun. If you want to see people get eaten by dinosaurs, great movie. Story wise, not so good. So mm, you notice how like in Jurassic World it was now taking things to another level, like it was starting things off. Um, well, yes, it is another Jurassic World movie, but you remember back in the day when we had Jurassic Park, like you saw that movie and you're like, whoa, that movie is great. It is awesome. And then they did the sequels, which were kind of like crap. And then all of a sudden they brought out Jurassic World. Jurassic World, I felt like you could have taken Jurassic Park and then put Jurassic World right behind it. That would have worked. Those two were great starts for trilogies. However, the things that preceded them were, not so good. So when we went to the island and they were killing off the dinosaurs, that one wasn't really good. And then the last one that they did where, all the dinosaurs were on, with the humans, that was weird. And obviously you brought the two casts back together. That was really weird, but okay, that's all right. But this one was really one that it had moments. That's the thing. They made a cool mutant dinosaur. But in my head, I'm like, this dinosaur is freaking huge. But you don't get to see the dinosaur really. You really don't. It's more like eh, like you remember Godzilla in the Godzilla movie where you kind of just saw the foot and you saw him like pop up mildly throughout the movie. That's what it was like with that dinosaur. Now I understand why they did that. The dinosaur was really huge. So it was bigger than the T-Rex. It was bigger than that one raptor beast that they did in Jurassic World. So there's really nothing that could combat it. So it made sense that they couldn't do that. Um, However, I felt like that being the case, it kind of fell short. Yeah, I could see that. That would, that's a good tie-in. I like the tie-in. It's really smart. That's a really good tie-in, Chris. Um, but it fell short. So that's again, you can watch that movie. You can make a decision on your own. If you like people getting eaten by dinosaurs, you like dinosaurs. Okay, it's a thumbs up for you. Um, I saw War of the Worlds. It's a Amazon movie. It did hit the theaters, but it was a Amazon movie. You need to pass, hard pass on that. It is bad, like horribly bad. Yeah, I want to see that one. It looks good. That Primitive War movie that looks really really good. So I'm definitely down to check that out. Definitely down to check that out. Trying to look. Freakier Friday was fun. So if you guys want to see something funny, that's a good one. I'm not gonna really say too much about it because it's Freaky Friday Part Two. Um, I know what you did last summer. Haven't seen that one yet. Haven't seen Megan 2 yet. Um, Heads of State was a good one. That's the one with John Cena and Idris Elba. That was fun. Happy Gilmore 2, fun. Naked Gun, the new one. I saw the beginning part of it. It's fun. It looks really really fun. Let's see what else we got on tap here. Let's go in here. Doop 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 doop. The Old Guard 2. So that's that new what is her name? Charlize Theron movie where she's like an immortal. That's fun. That's a really good one. So I would definitely tell you need to check that out. I think that's all the main ones. But the one that I really want to get to tonight to talk about is the Smashing Machine. I gotta put this out there for people. So I'm a huge rock fan. I think Dwayne Johnson is a great action star. However, in his last, I would probably say like 3 movies, he's been kind of like not on par. His last endeavors that he's done have not really been that good. Like he usually, hits hard. I felt like when he popped up in Fast and Furious 10, it was classic rock, right? When he popped up at WrestleMania 40, that's classic rock, right? Classic Dwayne Johnson. So you can bet on him on that one. Whenever he pops up in the wrestling world, he is you can tell that he is definitely on. Um, However, he hasn't been really strong in the movies. The movies that he's picked really haven't been that good. But the Smashing Machine is probably the first time where I saw The Rock and I didn't see him as The Rock. So when the trailer came out, I knew the movie was coming out. I already saw like set photos. I had seen the poster and all that kind of good stuff. So I had already seen that stuff prior. So I already knew what he was going to look like. However, when you got an actor that makes you not even realize it's them, that's next level for an actor. And for Dwayne Johnson, it's really hard because he's Dwayne Johnson. He's a big dude, and you really can't mistake him. However, this guy is playing a big dude, but he's playing an MMA fighter. So not only is he a bigger version of himself because they had to put on a bunch of muscle, because you can look at him like his frame wise, he almost looked like a tighter version of what he looked like in Pain and Gain. He was just super solid, big chest, big shoulders. The stance, his walk was completely different. Um, and seeing him with prosthetics, because he usually doesn't wear any prosthetics, and hearing that voice, and because I'm familiar with the UFC fighter that he's playing, Mark Kerr, it was very weird. But if anybody really knows Dwayne Johnson's, background in the acting world, he really was able to do dramatic roles and be very dynamic when he first started out acting. I'm not talking about when he played in what was that movie, The Scorpion King, and when he was in Mummy 2. We're not talking about those. Those movies really were kind of him dipping his toes into acting, but he was still a wrestler. I'm talking about things like when he played in Snitch, even when he played in The Rundown, and there's another movie that he played where he was a soldier that came back. Can't remember the name of the movie off the top of my head. Um, but he actually is a good dramatic actor, and I think this movie right here is where it's going to change people's perspective on what he can do. And I think it's really good for him because I think it's going to push his acting to another level. It, honestly, Dwayne Johnson is just like John Cena. They're at a point in their career where they can't physically do the wrestling stuff like they really want to. They have to spend months to get ready to do that stuff. However, on an acting level, it's a little different because now you're going to spend a few months learning how to become a character, and then you execute that for a small period of time. And it's not physically taxing on you. Like The Rock, tore his groin when he was wrestling John Cena the day before he was supposed to go shoot Hercules, right? They had to postpone the Hercules production because he had to wait to get healed. The difference in doing a movie is that you can have a stunt double come in there and do your stuff that you may not want to do or the studio might not want you to do. So it makes things a little bit easier on the actor or actress. And I think for Dwayne Johnson, this is a smart move because now you can open up your palette of pieces that you can work on and you're not typecasted. For him, he very much was for a long time. And for him to go from he's the action star, and this is before the movie comes out. So I don't know, I haven't seen the movie, but this is just from critics. So for critics to say that Dwayne Johnson is Oscar worthy, that's opening up a new door for him. I had heard that he is thinking about doing a movie with Martin Scorsese. Now we know that Martin Scorsese is no joke, right? He is he is known for doing Oscar-based movies. He's known for making highly polarizing dramas. He really puts a lot of work into making sure that there's depth in his story and his characters and makes them shine. So we all know that Martin Scorsese's really sweet spot for the last, I would say, 15 years has been working with Leonardo DiCaprio. Um, him wanting to team up with Dwayne Johnson, for me, when I heard it, I would say 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, I was like, really? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Like zero sense. Now that I've had a chance to see, snippets of this Smashing Machine movie, I am really curious to see what he can do. I'm really curious to see what, if he's given a script that works with his strengths and challenges him, I think it's going to be really good. It's going to be really good. Like Vin Diesel, again, he's one of these people that doesn't do things that he is better at. Like he has very much typecast himself on purpose because I know he likes to get a paycheck. But let's be real. If you've ever seen, I think it's not Ballers, it's Boiler Room. So if you ever watched Boiler Room, there's a movie that he plays in there, and it's got Giovanni Ribisi, and it's got uh, Ben Affleck and a few other major stars. Right? It's a quick stock trading, let's get quick rich, and then all of a sudden the world blows up on them kind of movie. And Vin Diesel in that movie is fantastic. He is not himself at all. Like, we're used to seeing Vin Diesel be, "Hey guys, I'm going to go ahead and drive this car, off this 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 mountain, and I'm going to live all about family." That's all we see hit from him now. It's just there's no depth, like zero. But he did a courtroom movie years ago. He had hair, um, and he was really good in it. But he those movies that he does are few and far between. Granted, obviously those movies are not going to be big movie block. They're not going to be blockbuster movies. However, they challenge the actor or actress to be better. I would rather see an actor or actress pop up in a movie that doesn't do hundreds of millions of dollars and see a quality movie versus seeing a movie that does hundreds of millions of dollars and is crap. Now they just churn stuff out so much and so frequently. It's not fun to go to the movies anymore. I want to see something with depth in it. Now they're taking time to create movies that do have that, which is good. And I want to see more of that. But watching people like, The Rock get out of their safe space and realize, hey, I can do more. That's a beautiful sign for an actor. And I really think that he's got the skills, the chops, and he also has the discipline to do something like this. I mean, Dwayne Johnson is and I hate harping on this particular subject, but I really want people to understand that are not familiar with his background. So, we're talking about a guy that started out really like his real start to everybody seeing him was doing football for University of Florida. I'm sorry, University of Miami, and he really wasn't showcased. People knew that he was on the team, but he really was not spotlighted. So when we look at him moving forward, once he got out of that, and then he went into wrestling. Now, yes, he had a successful wrestling career, but when The Rock came on, it was at Survivor Series, and he looked like a goofy version of a Polynesian slash Indian. His outfit was atrocious. It was so goofy. He had the weirdest looking hair. He just did not look where he is now. Now, of course, they had to refine him, but he also put in the time to become better and really position himself to be a better, not only just a better wrestler, but also just a better entertainer, better person on the mic, and make himself more valuable. And that just shows you that he had that dedication. So he also put that same kind of dedication in the way that he works out, the way that he promotes himself, the teams that he puts around himself. And of course, now he is one of the chairmans on TKO, and he runs Seven Buck Productions. And when he goes into movies, he knows what he wants. He knows what he wants to produce, but he has a standard. He has a discipline. He has a way of doing things. He does the same stuff with his workouts. He knows he's got to get ready for a role. There's no BS, like zero. His workout regimen has to be right on point. He has to be on time. Now I've heard rumors that that may not be the case, but as far as like how he presents himself when he is there, he's ready. Like I've never seen him fumble in an interview. Like he's ready. Now that might just be nice editing, but he is pretty spot on. He is very charismatic. He's always bringing it every time. Um, so those are just things to consider when you're looking at this new movie. If you can realize that it's not Dwayne Johnson you're looking at, and realize that you're looking at an actor that really has pushed himself to be something different, I think we're going to get something really cool out of this movie. It may not make millions of dollars. I mean, it may not make hundreds of millions of dollars, but I guarantee you, there's going to be some voices. There's going to be people talking about this movie. I promise you, there's going to be people saying, "Hey, this needs to be in the contention for either best director or, best movie." It may not win, but it's going to be in there because there's a lot of good, movies coming down the pipe in this next, 3 months. I mean, hell, we got a Bob Dylan, not Bob Dylan. We have a Bruce Springsteen movie about the drop. That's going to be huge. I don't know how it's gonna fare, but just the fact that it's Bruce Springsteen, that's going to be huge. That's a big thing, and it's Jeremy. I think it's Jeremy Iron White. I think it's the guy from The Bear. That's really cool stuff. So looking forward to this fall season or this summer, the Christmas season. It's gonna be cool to see what happens. How you doing, Brent? Nice to see you on here. Um, so Swarm, what you up to? What are you doing tonight? Got there. I was gonna have more time to do a couple pieces. Maybe I'll just do the other one on Friday. We'll see. I think I might do a stream on Friday too. Test those waters out. All right, got that. Oh, I like this so much. I can't wait to outline. This is gonna be dope. Like pop it in the black around it. It's gonna be really cool. Squirrel, thank you for this suggestion. This thing actually is coming out much better than I thought it was going to. To get a picture of it where I'm at right now, so that way I can kind of see. So I don't know if you were just listening in on the conversation I was having with Chris earlier, but we were talking about Inktober, and we're doing well. He's doing a different Inktober than me. The Inktober I'm focusing on, the one I really want to do, is going to be the X-Men one. So hopefully I'll be able to make it through all 30 days. That's my goal, and wrap that guy up. I got 20 minutes, so I'm gonna make this one work. I'm gonna wrap this guy up here. Actually, I might have less than that because I started this at 10:30, so I think I have a little less than that. But let's see what I can do. I need to see the fingers for this guy. I see him. There's one here. I might have to move that. So we got one here. Mhm. This is the joint. Main thing is I gotta make these consistent because if I don't, it's gonna be messed up. So for like working on anything tonight, drawing wise at all? He's parts, so I can just manipulate these pieces. So he's just gonna have different configured fingers. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, that goes there. Well, you know what? I know earlier tonight I was talking with my buddy Chris on here. We're doing the Inktober challenge. You thought about doing something like that? I'm doing the X-Men one, and then probably a couple other ones because I have a pinup one I'm doing that I found because I don't draw a lot of women, so I just want to kind of tighten up my skills in that. So that's one, and then I found one that is all gods, like Zeus and all that kind of good stuff, like Greek and Roman gods and goddesses. That's something that you might want to look into. If you need a list, I'll send them to you. Have some divots in there, so that way he has like some cracks. I don't want him perfect. Oh, okay. So you're talking like brand new, like fresh. That is a lot of ground to cover. You can still pull it off. Like if you're just like at basic shapes, go that route, man. I literally had like I do drawing prompts in my classes, and we were doing one today. It's called futuristic, and I had people. No, it wasn't futuristic. It was fantasy. So I had them. They were doing things like Shrek. Some people did like a fan. One of my kids did a fantasy football trophy. So you don't have to be like hitting like high levels. I would just say just you got to have a starting point somewhere. But again, no pressure. If you want to start, if you want to try it next year, I'm going to love to see what you do. I did take a look at your page, and I wanted to ask you a question on it. Do you just sell, you know, retro shirts, or do you do other stuff as well? Sorry. Okay, so I know what I did. I have a sixth finger in there. That's what's throwing me off. Okay, let's fix that. So we'll put one here. So typically, what I would do is I would not have all these little different twists. But for him, he's going to get it. So, like this finger right here is all jacked up because it's like another finger that he got. The rest of them are all correct. All right, that looks good. Now, let's go ahead and get the rest of this leg in here. Let's see. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So, in the fact that you sell comics, do you have any like old like Spawn books at all in your collection that you want to part with? Damn. How about any Spider-Man? And when I'm talking Spider-Man, I'm talking like the Todd McFarlane run, specifically looking for books 14 and 15, 14, 13 and 14. It's when he got back in the black suit. Who's the new person I saw pop up in there? So Patterson 97. Okay. Right. I think I got the last little bits of this left to do. Select the leg and then I got to outline it. Maybe should be good to go. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was stuff like if you had like an older set of stuff that you were like you flip books. I don't know if that was something that you did. I am honestly on the hunt, and I think I'm just gonna have to reach out to a couple of these vendors online or reach out to one of my old comic shops because I got to get those books. They're missing in my set. I don't know why, but they are. And then I have to get the Batman Hush, the the trade paperback, but I got to get the original books. Well, I get that too. I understand, but you never know. You might have to part ways with them, and there might be people that might want to get their hands on them. I'm just saying. I understand. I get it. I went through some of my old stuff and I was like, I have some things in here that I was not expecting to find. I have some old like 70s and like early 70s books that I never thought I would put my hands on again, but I found them. They're not worth anything to anybody unless you're a collector of these books, but to me, they're gold mines. They're little gems. Oh, so I gotta put this little guy here in there first. There we go. He's got this like drill. I don't know which transformer that's from, but it looks cool. Looks really like maybe one of these days I'm gonna pull off like there's this guy, his name's James the Box Office Artist. He did a lithograph with like 600 different transformers in it. I've only seen the lithograph a couple times in its entirety, and it's something to marvel at. I much prefer seeing the black and white version of it versus seeing the color. I feel like the color does a disservice to it. Do not let me. I'm not talking ill of the colors because the colors is good. I can't remember his name, but I know the work that person's done, and that person does do good color. However, here's the problem that I run into with a lot of artwork that I see. Unfortunately, when I see uh, people's colored work, you have to have the right colorist to complement your work. Some colorists can take out your artwork, like mess up your design, and they don't do it on purpose. It just they don't have a flow with your colors, and that's a hard relationship to build. It takes years to make that work. It also takes a good colorist to enhance people's work, like Christian Lichtner. And I only say this because this is he's one of my favorite colorists of the time when I was really collecting artwork. But when he would put his colors to like a Joe Mad piece, you knew like it was fire, like it was a hot piece of artwork. Um, when I see Ludo do his colors for his artwork, they complement what he does. Jeffrey Chumba, when he does colors on his stuff, um, he is so good at enhancing his own work. But again, he's doing his own work. I think he could do the same treatment to other people's stuff. I think he has. He just has such a good flow, and it's a mix between like a cartoon and comic. It's so good. So he's able to pull that off. Um, who's another one that I really see that has done it really well? That little handsome piece. Um, the colorist for Brett Booth, he's really good. Who else do I have on there? I got three people popping in here. So I don't know who that is. One Slinky Girl. Well, how you doing tonight? So yeah. That's just my take on it. Most people probably won't agree, but that's just what I feel. But with James Box Office Artist, he when he did that piece, there's so many little intricate details in it because he is doing Transformers, so you have to have those forms and shapes really pop out, so not every character is flat, and every character stands out. Like even if you have to look close, you'll see them, but everybody stands out and everybody's unique in that book and that cover. It's really cool to look at. Yeah, I think for the most part, this might be a wrap on this one. I made this piece a little different, but that's okay. I'm good with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. Just keep adding on little pieces to make them more robotic. That's what we do. So, Swirl, are there any movies that you are interested in or recommendations that you can give me? You looking forward to that new Avatar, Ash and Fire or Fire and Ash? The monkey. Was that fighting movie? Oh, okay. I like horror. I like horror films. I don't get scared in horror films. Really don't. I am looking to see that the Terrifier movies. I guess gotta figure out where I can find them. Figure since I drew the character, I should go ahead and at least watch the movie to find out what it's about. Oh, that's cool. Sounds fun. There we go. That sounds really fun. I think I might be done. I think so. Wow, I'm actually impressed by this. This actually came out really good. Good recommendations, bro. This is was fun. I think the last thing I'll do, and I gotta get some cool gray pens or markers. 'Cause I think mine dried out. I think I'm just gonna use that to enhance this a little bit, so that way I can create like shadows and stuff. But I think for the most part, this guy is almost done. I'm just going over areas so that way I can make them pop out a little bit more. Cool. Good deal. Yeah, speaking of movies, I think the one horror movie that I will never ever watch again is Hellraiser. And I'm not talking about the new stuff. I'm talking about the old stuff. Um, Between Hellraiser 1 and Hellraiser 2, they are probably my Only two movies that will make me like stop watching horror movies altogether. They're kind of freaky. And I watched them when I was a kid, so uh, my sister was much more into it, so she would watch that crap all the time, and it used to freak me out. So seeing this guy come around, he had no lips and he just chattered. That was just not cool for me. Knowing that, because I went to a Christian school, and in Christian school they tell you, you don't mess with the devil and all this other stuff. So that's what I found out. These guys were messing with the Pandora's box, and the Pandora's box led to all this. Basically, you're opening up a portal to hell. So for me, I'm like, oh man, just by watching this, I'm probably going to go straight to hell. you know, um, that was really hard, really really hard to watch. But even to this day, I'm just like, I can't watch that again because it's messes with my soul. And it's not that it's even scary; it's just creepy as hell. I think the last movie that I watched that really did that for me, where I don't know if I can just jump into it again, was It Chapter One. It Chapter One was, it, and I think I had this conversation with somebody before. There's a difference between a scary movie and a creepy movie. A creepy movie almost feels like something's crawling up your neck or down your skin. That is creepy. And it's something that stays with you. A scary movie just, makes you jump, from time to time. That's all it does. So it doesn't really stay with you. You do your little jump, you move on, and your adrenaline comes down. But like you feel the fear factor, on a creepy movie. And I feel like that was the last time that they've done a movie where it does that. Um, you can see the difference because if you look at It Chapter Two, that's a scary movie. It's a lot of jump scares, and that's exactly what it is throughout the entire movie. Nothing really stays with you. So when you compare the two, the feel of it is different. That's why I think Welcome to Derry, the new HBO series that's coming out, that is going to be more on the creepy factor because I think they're really going to lean into that with the kids. Stranger Things does a good job at that. Like Stranger Things season one does really good at giving you the creepy factor by going into the um to the upside down. Ghostbusters 1 does the creepy really good too. Even though it's a comedy, it's still a scary movie. So that's a good one as a reference. But all these movies are subjective. What may be freaky and scary to me might just be like comical to you. Sign off here in just a couple of minutes, but I just want to get through a couple other things on here. Man, I forgot to tell people about this show. Has anybody watched Gen V season two? I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it at all. I don't know why. Gen V season one was like raved. Here, get this space. Yeah, Gen V season one. really good. Gen V season 2, it's really good. It is fun. It's a good take on what we see from the original one, but take it up a notch. The antagonist in this one, so far, he you don't know where he's coming from, which I really like. Oh man, Swirl, listen, if you have not seen season 4 of The Boys, you need to get up on that. It's setting something up that is going to make season 5, if they land season 5 right, season 5 is going to be epic. Season 4 was so good, but it left the door open for a really good conclusion to the whole entire series. Because I don't know if you know this, but season 5 is it. That it is done at that point. So I think they're gonna really do justice by this. And I think Gen V taking the reins is gonna be really good. And they're also making a prequel to The Boys with like these retro think of like the golden age version of superheroes, but it's the golden age version of the the boys characters. So I think it's going to be really good. They're going to really hit hard. You will not be disappointed by watching the boys. It's not really one of those shows that doesn't do well. They really put a lot of effort into making those shows even better. The cool part I liked, especially about this particular season of Gen V, one of the cast members passed away. It was either right before filming or during filming. I think it was right before filming. Um, he unfortunately passed away in a motorcycle accident, and they were able to incorporate that into the story and make it make sense. So think about Wakanda Forever, and you know how Chadwick Boseman died. It was a it was a component of the story that was a motivation piece for things to happen down the road. It wasn't really, I hate to say this about Ryan Coogler, but it wasn't executed very well. But with this particular one, it's done very, very well. You will like it. You're not going to be disappointed. I just remember the word. It's called MacGuffin. That's the word I was looking for that. All right. I think for I'm going to call this a night because I think I'm done. Outside of putting on some grays, and then what I'll do is I'll post it, and that should be it. But I think that one's donezo, my friend. That one looks good. All right. So I believe if everything goes right, I'm going to probably do a cast on Friday. Thank you so much. I'm probably going to do a cast on Friday in the morning. So we got a 3 hours difference. So Swirl, if you want to jump on it, I'm gonna probably do it between 9 and 10. So one of those times I'm gonna start it at, and do probably a couple more hours. I have another cover that I got to work on. It's going to be a Spawn cover with a Corvette. So if you want to jump in on for that one, you're more than welcome to. But other than that, I'm going to be back definitely for next Wednesday. I don't have anything uh on my calendar like I did last week, so we should be good to go. All right, so I will see you later. Have a great night, Swirl. Have a great night, whoever else is on the cast, and I will see you guys next stream.